Hi friends, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 23. Why am I nervous to make this video? So today's video is going to be a little bit different again. I thought today I would talk about my history and experience with ovarian cysts and endometriosis, or what my doctors suspect I have to be endometriosis. The only confirmed diagnoses I have is that I have reoccurring ovarian cysts. The only way to fully confirm endometriosis is through laparoscopy and a biopsy, which I have not had yet, but am in the process of getting sorted out. So a little bit of background on endometriosis. Endometriosis is when the tissue, similar to what the tissue is inside of your uterus, grows all over your body on the inside. So all over the outside of your uterus, on your ovaries. Some women or some people get it up to their chest, like their lungs, their diaphragm, things like that. Thoracic endometriosis is also a thing. And it's still very unknown and still very taboo subject, which is crazy because it's suspected to affect 1 in 10. And which, when you think about it, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people in the world. So that in itself is bonkers. But other thing, endometriosis can sometimes take 10 years to diagnose. And I always thought that was a really long time. Like, how can you go 10 years not knowing what you have? But for me, it's going on, this summer will be 6, not having a confirmed diagnosis. So I guess we should start at the beginning. I have some notes on my phone that this note I actually started in 2017 in March. And I haven't edited it since, so we'll see how far it goes, but it kind of talks about when I was first diagnosed, or suspected diagnosis and whatnot. So I'm going to be referencing to it a lot because my memory from 5 years ago is pretty hazy. But I guess where to start is when I was 12, almost 13, I got my first period. I was always pretty regular, pretty consistent. Pretty much my cycle was always 28 days long, and it wasn't horrible. I was in a lot of pain, but I thought that was normal. I would get really bloated during my periods, but again, I thought that was normal. But it was like manageable. It was manageable. And so always the weeks leading up to my period and right after my period, I would be in pretty bad pain. But pop a few Tylenol, keep it going, get a hot pack or an ice pack from the nurse every day, like just trying to get through stuff. The thing that started the entire journey was my family and I had just moved into a new apartment in Macau, and we didn't have Wi-Fi or TV yet, so we were playing tons of board games together. And this memory is so vivid in my brain, I will never forget it. We were playing Risk one night, which to anyone who's played Risk knows takes for freaking ever. And it came around to my turn, I made my move, and I laid down on the floor because it's going to take like 10 minutes for the other 3 players to make their moves. and I wasn't even on my period or anything, but I was in a bit of pain. And so when I went to sit back up, it felt like someone had taken the organs and muscles inside my body and was stretching them as hard as they could, and then just like running a knife along it, not cutting it, nothing, just like, you know when you're like cutting onions or something and a knife kind of just like slides by and you're like, oh my gosh? It was that feeling just constantly, and then shooting pain as I sat up. And so I literally cried out and laid back down, and my family was very stunned. Immediate tears to my eyes, excruciating pain. And so a few minutes later, the pain started to subside just a little bit, like the tiniest bit of difference, and I was able to kind of sit up and like regain composure. My parents asked a bunch of questions, and they thought that maybe my appendix could have burst, but the pain was all over my abdomen and had started radiating to my back. So we ruled out a burst appendix, and we were all pretty confused. For about a week after this, I was in so much pain. I didn't leave my bed a lot, and if I did, I was kind of walking hunched over as to not pull any abdominal muscles. Yeah, reading this note is crazy. Yeah, I was in so much pain that I was waking up in the middle of the night with cramps, with insane nausea. I could barely go to bed because I was in so much pain. It was crazy. And some of you that know me in real life know I had been playing volleyball since I was in grade 6. This particular summer was the summer before I started grade 10. We had just come off of grade 9. I was captain of the volleyball team, MVP. We went undefeated. Did we go undefeated at our tournament? We won our tournament. We got gold. And it was a great year. I was so excited to make the switch from my middle school team to my high school team. Or at least what I thought I was going to switch. But I didn't. Yeah. I'm sorry, this is really like jumpy, but it's hard to totally grasp it. And yeah, so what I think happened was, I think a cyst on my ovary burst in that moment. That's what I'm assuming happened. We honestly will never know, but that's what I'm going to believe. And so it says, later on that week, my mom came into my room and told me that she was going to make an appointment with the gynecologist at our local clinic. She thought that it may be ovarian cysts because she used to have them before her hysterectomy. My mom had a hysterectomy when I was, I think, 2, 3, 4, something like that. She has 2 beautiful kids, me and my older brother. Picture here of us as children, because we were adorable. And so a few days later, I went to the gyno, and she decided to take an ultrasound of my ovaries, and I couldn't really read the images at that point. I didn't know what I was looking for, but she showed me healthy ovaries and then my ovaries, and you could see little cysts on them. Quite a few, actually, or if I'm remembering correctly, it was quite a few. the gynecologist told me that it was pretty likely that I had endometriosis just from what I was telling her. And so she prescribed me painkillers and basically told me that since I was younger, she didn't want to put me on a birth control since I wasn't sexually active. And she said that the painkiller should help and told me what I could take on a regular basis and what I shouldn't take. Yeah, this was around July or August of 2015, and the pain didn't go away. I couldn't stand up straight without crying involuntarily, and so that meant I couldn't play volleyball, which was devastating to me. But my coach was amazing and let me still kind of manage the team for the next 2 years. My doctor said that the painkillers should help. They didn't. It would take kind of the edge off and let me like go to school and stuff, but there's always that dull pain in the back of your head. Tylenol and Advil were ineffective now. They didn't do anything for me anymore, and I would basically go back to the gynecologist every other month, sometimes once a month, trying to get answers. And then in October of 2015, so 2 or 3 months later, my doctor agreed to put me on a hormonal birth control. I continued to be in pain during my period, during the week of ovulation, during the week before my period, and the week after my period. So on a typical 4-week cycle, that accounts for all 4 weeks, my dudes, and that's not enjoyable. Obviously there are good days, obviously there were bad days. Like, looking back at my first year of university, there were some really good days. I had great days with my friends, and then there were some days I didn't get out of bed because I was in so much pain. And this has been happening since I was 15, which is crazy. And I'm 20 now, about to turn 21 in 2 months, which is bonkers. Let's see, what else have I got in this note? That's about it. This note I wrote when I was 17, and doctors had been not super helpful. I would be given so many painkillers that would help for a bit and then not help. Then I was prescribed sleeping pills because I couldn't sleep because I was in so much pain. Those would help for a bit, but I would wake up so groggy that it wasn't worth it. They thought I had IBS. At one point, my doctor thought I had an ulcer in my stomach. Lots of bacterial infections, basically anything you can think of, I was treated for, and more ultrasounds than I can remember, which is so crazy. And then, so I had been on the same birth control since October 2015 until last year. Yeah, just over a year ago, when the female doctor she's not on OBGYN or anything, on campus, asked if I wanted to be switched to a 3-month birth control. And I was like, well, what are the side effects, yada yada yada. I wanted to know everything. And she explained it, and I was like, okay, let's do it. She was like, I can't confirm that, or I can't guarantee that this is gonna make things better, but I also can't guarantee that it's gonna make things worse. And after a while, you'll only have your period once every 3 months. And to me, I was like, 1 week out of every 3 months, or 1 week out of every month, I would take 1 week of pain out of every 3 months, that seems like a no-brainer to me. And so I started on a new birth control. That is a 3-month long pack, and I've been on it for just over a year, and honestly it's great. It's helped a lot. There have been ups and downs on it as well, but there's ups and downs with everything. And this September, October, my doctor and I decided to go ahead with a referral to the BC Women's Center for Pelvic Pain and Endometriosis out of the BC Women's Hospital, and try to get me in for a laparoscopy, which is very exciting. Also very nerve-wracking, but I'm excited to have answers. I don't know when I'll be going in yet. There's still lots of tests to be done, lots of appointments to be made, but I'm excited to see where it goes from here. There are still days where I'm in a lot of pain, and there's still days where I don't really get out of bed unless I've taken my prescription painkillers. My doctor also gave me new prescription painkillers, which work great. And I've surrounded myself with people that love and care for me and are willing to do my grocery shopping for me if I can't get out of bed, or go pick me up some takeout and bring it to my apartment if I can't get out of bed. And it's great. Yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say. It's kind of an open-ended story time, I guess. There's no happy ending to the story. I get ruptured cysts all the time. It's a very strange feeling that unless you've gone through it, you never understand. But there are so many resources out there. Lots of Facebook groups to join, lots of support wherever you need it. Again, it affects 1 in 10. If your periods are painful enough that you are in bed, that is not normal. That's not normal, and you should advocate for yourself. You know what your body's going through. And it doesn't matter if a doctor tells you that you're wrong, because you know what you're going through. It's gonna make you feel crazy, but you're not crazy. You're not crazy. So, if anyone is experiencing this as well, feel free to reach out. I'm more than willing to talk, more than willing to answer any questions that may arise. Yeah, but I guess that'll be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video so we can spread the word and awareness. Comment if you have any questions, and subscribe so you get to see cookies tomorrow and the final day of Vlogmas. But that's gonna be it for today. Bye, friends.